This weaponization of our great institutions, the FBI, Justice Department, and individual states' similar institutions, will lead to one of two outcomes. One is more of the same from the other side, tit for tat. That may seem deserved, but it is not the right way forward for America. The other is what I call on you to demand from your politicians today, an end to this craziness in order to save the soul and sanity of our country.
Yes, before we continue with this video, first take a look at these.
My fellow panelist here is celebrating that the rule of law has been vindicated and overturned 234 years of American legal tradition. I would challenge her to see if she could possibly articulate how and what crime Trump committed, because so far Alvin Bragg, the DA, has failed to do so. The judge in the case, Judge Merchan, has failed to do so. And they can't do it because Trump didn't commit any of the crimes for which he's been convicted.
Well, let's just ask quickly, before I go to Kevin. Francesca, just on that point, what crime did Trump commit?
It was financial crimes. It was white collar crimes. That is exactly what they charged him. He was convicted on.
What was the crime?
It's New York State law.
I understand. What was the crime?
It is New.
Francesca,
I don't even like it. It is
hang on, Mark,
he just got convicted on 34 counts.
Francesca, what was the crime?
Of like cooking the actual books.
What was the crime?
You are not allowed. So you are not allowed to use your own financial, like your own money to pay off somebody, and then
You can see it clearly. This lady on this video was unable to point out the crime he committed. Yes, before we proceed with this clip, Dr.Phill went off. According to this tweet, Dr.Phill calls for the end of the political persecutions against Trump, blasts Biden, and tells him to dismiss now. I call you to demand from your politicians today an end to this craziness in order to save the soul and sanity of our country. I don't like what I see happening in our country. I don't like seeing the weaponization of our justice system, agencies, and powerful government actions that frankly just make my skin crawl for all of us and for my grandchildren. And let's be honest, this is so not just about Trump. If you let your hatred for Trump compromise your ability to find true north on your moral compass, shame on you. The current administration could and should do the right thing, dismiss now, even now, post-convictions of a political opponent, all such lawful and pledge to return to the normal functioning of a government.
The date is set to hear an appeal in the 2020 election interference case. Oral arguments are set to begin October 4th in the Court of Appeals. Judges will decide if Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis should be disqualified. The appeal stems from a March ruling that allowed Willis to remain on the case if Nathan Wade resigned. Right now, it is still unclear when a ruling would be handed down following the hearing. We did reach out to Willis's office.
We got a big update in Fulton County, Georgia, where we are still awaiting any mention of a trial date, but it seems like we got a little closer to getting something of an answer here. So can you walk us through what just happened in Georgia?
It's an answer, but it's not a particularly good answer for those of us who are waiting for full accountability to come to Donald Trump, because, Brian, it now looks like there is almost no chance Donald Trump will be forced to go to trial in the RICO prosecution brought against him by DA Fani Willis before the November election. That is because the Court of Appeals down in Georgia just set an oral argument date for Donald Trump to appeal Judge McAfee's decision that DA Willis is not recused from the case. She can continue to head up the prosecution of Donald Trump and all of his criminal associates, his co-conspirators, his co-defendants like Mark Meadows and Rudy Giuliani, Jeffrey Clark, John Eastman, and the rest of them. That argument has now been set for, I believe, the first week in October. And what that means is there's really no hope that Fani Willis would be in a position to begin the RICO trial against Donald Trump before the November election rolls round. That's not particularly good news. It's also not especially surprising.
Soon to know what the impact of this verdict really is on the 2024 presidential outcome?
No, it's actually it's soon enough to know that it's not going to significantly alter the results at this moment. Then, in fact, the two presidential debates are going to be more important, that the gains that Trump had made among union members, Hispanics, young African-American men are significant and they're holding, that Biden's gains among middle-aged female suburban voters, those are holding. And basically, this feels more like World War I. That is just simply a ground game. It's a war of attrition. And there simply isn't that big dramatic event that most people had expected if Donald Trump was and has been found guilty on all charges. And that's what I need to emphasize. The assumption was 90 days ago that if Donald Trump was found guilty, the bottom would drop out of his support.
And this lady on this video was unable to point out the crime he committed, which is embarrassing. That is the question everybody is asking, like, point out the crime. She was unable. I don't know, if you don't have backup to certain type of things or certain discussions, it is not even good to embarrass yourself on live TV like this. When I watched this video over and over, I was like, what? She can't even say what? He committed what was the crime? That is the question. Point it out. This, that. That is what I expected that she should respond. If they could not prove it in court, I don't think this lady sitting here could obviously do that. Now taking a look at Dr.Phill, he is fed up. He is now seeing what is going on, and I'm glad that he is calling out, like, the Biden administration should stop what they are doing, because they have divided, the country like never before. I don't know at this time, like I could ever see this happening during an election period where we could have been seeing, a lot of people talking on policies, talking about this, but it is not happening. Instead, we are talking about court cases on daily basis and approaching the election period. Then look at how they always try to blindfold. Immediately, they talk to the media, pick up this talking point, and everybody picks it up. Like I did a video about this crazy Soros guy, like, maintain that talking point, call him like this, call even Biden today, call Trump like that. So you will understand exactly what is going on just at this time. What is happening? I was told, or I read today, that Biden now put up executive action, a single executive action pertaining to the border. Why now? The very first day, I believe he canceled, Trump policies that protected this. Now, because of election period, he got up to do this, just to blindfold people. It is high time people see it, because it was even temporary. Sometimes when I look at what is happening with these systems, I'm tired, I'm fed up.
Costa also with the president is now on TikTok. It's my honor.
The round of applause he's getting right now is pretty staggering, and you had to imagine that's what was going to happen.
Trump moment in New York, I have never seen anything like that in my life.